Namaste and welcome everyone. It's so nice to be here with all of you. Welcome to Kṣaṇāti Jyotish. I'm Kṣaṇāti, and there is a couple transits which are occurring right now related to the North Node known as Rahu. And these transits can be very difficult on us at this time. Rahu is currently in its exalted position of Taurus. And as of today, it is coming into a direct alignment with the moon. Also, starting tomorrow evening, Rahu will be conjunct with Mars, and Mars will be kept getting closer and closer to Rahu until the date of April 13th, when Mars will move into Gemini. So this is a long transit with lots of difficult energies relating to the North Node Rahu. And so we want to do remedial chanting to improve our karmic relationship, reduce the malefic or negative effects of Rahu, and encourage only the positive. Let me show you the transit, which I am going to be doing remedy for. So here on the left, which is today, Saturday is associated with Rahu. And so there is no better time to do the Rahu remedial chanting than today, when Rahu and Moon are coming into an exact conjunction. So you see over here, there's a Rahu Moon conjunction, which is going to have a great impact on us because Rahu is exalted in the sign of Taurus and the Moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. But according to the ancient astrological text, Rahu eats the moon. It eclipses the moon. It consumes the moon. And the moon is our mind. It's our emotion. It's our feelings that are inside of us. And Rahu can create a vata, a very vitiating effect on the moon, which can disturb our mental balance. It can disturb our desires. It can disturb which energy we're putting towards which things, which are a priority, because Rahu is tamasic in its nature. So it brings down our emotional nature and our emotional desires. So when we do this remedial Rahu chanting, we're really seeking to improve our spiritual relationship with Rahu. So then late on Sunday into Monday, I have Monday is when it really starts happening. There's a Rahu-Mars conjunction. Now, Rahu and Mars are also not friendly towards each other, and Mars is going to be in its enemy sign of Taurus. So Rahu is going to be exalted and have way more power than Mars. Mars is action, Mars is energy. And so this is a very important remedial activity to do so that Mars can still come through and affect our lives in a positive way. So here we have Rahu crushing the moon, and then we have Rahu crushing Mars. And this attack on Mars from Rahu lasts well into April. So these chanting, these remedial practices in order to improve our karma with Rahu and honor our spiritual relationship with Rahu, a lot of people understand Rahu as this darker energy, and so they don't pay attention to Rahu. That's not going to work because the truth is that it is one of the Navagrahas. It has the blessing to have dominion over humanity from Mahadeva, from the great gods. And so we have to do this remedial chanting in order to improve our karma. Rahu is exalted in the sign of Taurus, which means if it's not remedially improved, we can have materialism, we can have egocentric central aspect, we can be too desirous, we can have trouble with drugs and alcohol, we can have trouble being trustworthy, we can have trouble being honest. But when you improve your spiritual relationship with Rahu, Rahu becomes very austere, spiritually inclinated, intuitive, and serious. So are you going to let your Rahu run wild, or are you going to get that Rahu under control so you can improve your spiritual relationship with Rahu? And so that's why I'm going to be doing these chants in order to improve our karma with Rahu. I hope our community benefits from it. So here on the left, I have the Rahu chant. If when you're doing this video, you want to join along, we have the Sanskrit, the Devanagari, we have the transliteration, and then we have a loose English translation along the bottom. I would suggest reading the transliteration unless you're familiar with Devanagari script. Now, here on the right side, we have the Rahu Yantra. The Rahu Yantra is very important to include in this spiritual practice, because when you make direct eye contact with the center of the yantra, And this says Shri Varaha Deva Namaha. When you make direct connection with the center of the yantra, it multiplies the effect of your remedial mantra many, many times. So this combination of the bhakti, of the Sanskrit chanting of Rahu, as well as the remedial approach through staring in the yantra, will magnify the effect of improving our karma with Rahu. So we benefit from Rahu materially, spiritually, romantically, instead of those things being destroyed when we can't keep Rahu under control. So I'm going to start with a few ohms, and then I'm going to go into a long chant that relates to the Rahu mantra sutra. And I have some Hesonite malas here. Hesonite is the gemstone for Rahu. So I will be counting my tantric sounds at the bottom of the chant. This is the seed sound. The tantric sound is different. It goes Om, Brahm, Brim, Braum, Saha, Rahave Namaha. And so I'm going to be chanting that 108 times in order to improve our spiritual relationship with Rahu. So the only thing that's different is the last line of the chanting. That is the seed sound. I prefer the tantric sound, especially when working with the nodes. And again, that's Om, Brahm, Brim, Braum, Saha, Rahave Namaha. So we'll start now with some chanting. And I hope this benefits everyone in the astrological community who's feeling the effects of this exalted Rahu transit, who's feeling the effects of Rahu eating the moon right now, and who is going to feel the effects of the upcoming Rahu-Mars transit. Now, it's also worth mentioning in the chart that there is a Kala Sarpa yoga. That means that Rahu and Ketu are dominating most of the chart. Now, the moon is actually going to break free of the Kala Sarpa yoga, but the moon is a quick moving planet. And so it's not really a total break of the Kala Sarpa yoga. And that might mean when this Kala Sarpa yoga is active, and it has been active for some time, that we can't get what we want. Life is full of surprises no matter what. But during the time of Kala Sarpa yoga, these surprises are much more pronounced in our daily lives. So I hope that everyone out there who's dealing with Kala Sarpa yoga, exalted Rahu, Rahu moon influence, and Rahu Mars, which is upcoming, can really improve by using this mantra as part of their sadhana, as part of their spiritual practice to incorporate into their everyday life. Dakayam Mahaviryam Chandradija Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambutam Tamrahu Pranamam Yaham. Om Dakayam Mahaviryam Chandradija Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambutam Tamrahu Pranamam Yaham. Om Dakayam Mahaviryam Chandradija Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambutam Tamrahu Pranamam Yaham. Om Mardakayam Mahaviryam Chandraditya Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambutam Tamrahu Pranamam Yaham. Om Brahm Brim Brahm Saharahave Namaha. 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 Om Adakayam Mahavriyam Chandraditya Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambhutam Tamrahu Pranamamyam. Om Adakayam Mahavriyam Chandraditya Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambhutam Tamrahu Pranamamyam. Om Adakayam Mahaviryam Chandraditya Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambhutam Tamrahu Pranamamyam. Om Mardakayam Mahavyam Tandraditya Vimardanam Samhita Garbha Sambhutam Tamrahu Pranamamyaham. Sahanau Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahe, Tayasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvashavahe, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Hari Om, Om Namah Shivaya, Namaste, lovers of Jyotish. I hope that everyone here benefited today from our Rahu remedial chanting. It's going to be very beneficial with the current transit of Rahu's exaltation. There's Kala Sarpa yoga until Mars goes into Gemini. That's not going to be for at least another month and a half. And also, there's going to be the Rahu Mars conjunction, which is going to be very intense. So it's Saturday. The Rahu is eclipsing the moon, and so it's a very beneficial day to start these Rahu remedial practices. Again, this is incredibly essential to our spiritual growth at this moment, to align to the higher side of the Rahuvian vibration. First, let the darker side get to you. Thank you all for enjoying this video and taking the time to chant and honor the Navagraha. Hari Om. Om Namah Shivaya.